Well, you can put up the brooms. You're going to have to tend to this one at home. The Dallas Mavericks staving off elimination at home, 119-109, a 10-point final. They held as large as a 29-point lead in this one, but Golden State's twos roaring back in the fourth quarter to make this one a little bit more interesting than it needed to be. Luka Doncic back in the game after being benched for what they thought would be the remainder of the game with it well intact, but Luka had to come put the finishing touches on this one with 30 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists. But this one, not so much about Doncic, but his supporting cast. Dorian Finney-Smith stepping up, Reggie Bullock as well, Jalen Brunson pitching in 15 of his own. All right, let's break it all down with our NBA insider, Bill Reiter. Bill, here we are, Dallas staving off elimination for at least one more game. This series will go back to the Bay, and it really was a story of three-point shooting and supplementary scoring like we talked about pre-game. What impressed you most about Dallas's performance here in Game 4?
Yeah, Joe, you said it so truly before the game. It turns out that there are two teams that are flying back to the Bay. I think in large part because Dallas did exactly what their head coach had asked them to do in multiple post-game press conferences, and that was to open up the three-point shooting by attacking the rim, playing in the paint, using their size, being aggressive, playing downhill, making cuts. And you saw them do that in the first half, and they started to hit all of those three-point shots. So if you can do that against the Warriors, if you can attack the rim, it opens up the kind of nights like this one where Dallas obviously hit 23-point shots, hit almost half of them. And when they went away, Joe, from that aggressive strategy in the paint, is when the Warriors started to make that comeback.
20 of 43 from downtown were the Mavericks here. Where'd you sense the inefficiencies on the Golden State side? It really seemed like they didn't necessarily have the jump, to borrow a hockey term, in this ball game, not necessarily sensing the moment on the road and maybe setting themselves up to do it at home. I know that's never the case here, but Golden State didn't really meet the ask in Game 4. What'd you see out of them?
I saw an important life lesson, and that is to never doubt Eric Casillas and the theory of the gentleman's sweep ever again. It was a combination of things. It was Dallas fighting for their postseason lives and some pride, and that Golden State Warriors tendency, and this is common for teams that are up 3-0, but we've seen this from the Warriors this year when it hasn't been a 3-0 series lead in the playoffs, where they get a little lackadaisical. They don't move the ball quite as well. They're not as sharp. A big part of what the Warriors do, at least offensively, is constant movement from guys. Not just Steph Curry. We know he does that. But everybody's always moving and moving the ball. And that takes effort and commitment. You sort of let go of the rope a little bit. You get nights like this one.
When we take a look at this box score, it tells one story, a game that maybe appeared closer than it actually was throughout the 48 minutes of action, Bill. But when you size these two teams up as they do head back to the Bay, how does Dallas bottle that up? I know there's shooting nights, they come and they go, especially when you're letting it fly 43 times, but striking that balance of Luka getting 30, but him having a supporting cast that also plays a big role in the game as well.
Yeah, unless Mark Cuban can come up with some kind of magical way to pack up those home rims and transport them to San Francisco, it's going to be hard. We know role players play better and shoot better and more comfortable at home, and that was a big part of what we saw. But again, like we talked about, Joe, if Dallas can play in the paint more aggressively, more efficiently, be more patient with their offense, let three-point shots come to them instead of forcing the fact, and get some help and some confidence. Some of those guys, not named Luka Doncic, hit some shots, hit some open three-point shots early in San Francisco, in the Bay, start to feel like they're playing with house money. Maybe they can do what none of us expected them to be able to do 24 hours ago and make a series of it.
You know, Bill, we were sitting in the green room just a bit ago, and it goes off of what you're saying there. Sort of how the games play out when we're looking at these series scores, it comes with a different level of pressure. 3-0 there's no pressure on either team. Not on the team with 3 wins to close it out, and not on the team with none because the hill back is so steep to climb. They get this first win, but then Game 5 tells the story. If they can clip that one and head home for another one, like, what's the thought process right now if you're Dallas and if you're Golden State heading back to the Bay? How important is this one on both sides, as Golden State likely does not want to see another one in Dallas?
It's a great question. Let's start with Dallas. I think the message will be from Jason Kidd and really Luka Doncic to those guys in that team. Hey, guys, if we just win one basketball game, and we've shown we can do this, we won games on the road in the postseason, we beat Phoenix, the best team in the regular season in the NBA, on the road. If we can do that in this one game, all the momentum comes our way. And I think, in theory, against certain teams, it's hard. Obviously, it's never happened to come down from 3-0. With Luka Doncic, in theory, in a lot of cases, maybe in practice, you can make a series of it. I think the reality is Golden State tends not to lose 2 games in a row in the postseason. They're so good at home, and they've got, and we throw this term around, Joe, but they do have a championship pedigree. They have real championship DNA, which I think will mean the focus and the effort and the ball movement and playing defense and all the things you're supposed to do and get from players who are part of a championship makeup team. We're going to see that, I think, in a couple days in San Francisco. It's a much more difficult order to beat. It's just a harder thing to ask for, to have players contribute for Luka Doncic and for the Mavs on the road in Green Bay, in San Francisco, against this kind of a defense in a game where I think the Warriors are going to say, okay, no more messing around, let's end this thing.
Last time the Dubs punched their ticket, it was in the East Bay at Oracle Arena. We'll see if they can get one done at Chase Center in the coming nights. Bill Reiter, thank you as always.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.